the fat and give our gut reactions on all things pop culture, film, TV and theatre. We talk to legends in the creative industry and those on the rise. We game old school. We support independent creatives. Got a project? Tell us about it. Get in touch. We do all of this, and a whole lot more. Like, subscribe, get involved. Join Lancey, Anthony Nielsen, and the Outcasts Creative.
Nearly forgot to put myself in the stream again, didn't I? Oh my God, what's going on? Welcome to another edition of Late Night with Lancey. This is going to be a regular stream now, which I've often done a stream after open bar, but I'm going to call it Late Night with Lancey because it's late for me, and I am called Lance. So there are a couple of reasons I wanted to do this today. First of all, we've got a new song. We've got a song written especially for the channel, an Outcast creative song, thanks to my good colleague, Retro Nerd Girl. And I might play that song, but I'm only going to play it if I can get two fellow YouTubers to come on the channel. So we're going to see if we can get some to come on. We're also going to talk about mental health a little bit. Now, I know that sounds like a bit of a heavy topic, and we're going to try and chat about it in a non-heavy way. But two things have happened in the last 48 hours. One of them is that quite a famous British singer very tragically took his own life. And the second thing that's happened is earlier tonight, one of my friends tried to do the same. So I feel like we need to talk about it, because if we don't, it's going to keep happening. And I want to I don't want to get into any details that would, I don't want to get into any of the details where my personal friend is concerned. Hang on, I'm just going to write this thing out. I'm talking about all topics tonight. Sorry, this is so unplanned. I'm so disorganized, including mental health. And the importance. So what I did was I got this friend of mine on the phone, because it's no good sending people a text, right? When someone puts out the bat signal, okay, if they put up a post on Facebook that they're not doing very well, that is not somebody saying, I don't want you to call me. That is somebody saying, please call me as soon as possible. So what I did with this friend of mine was I called them immediately, and they were a bit embarrassed at first. They tried to pretend they were okay, and everything was all right. And I said, look, mate, I'm not your mother or your wife. This is Lance you're talking to. So cut the bullshit and tell me what's going on. And, maybe I can help if all I can do is make you feel a bit better. Anyway, to cut a long story short, without getting into any personal information, they broke down crying and told me some of the things that were going on. I didn't get all of the information, but I got enough. And I think the most important thing when you're talking to someone who's in that state of mind, the most important thing, if you're speaking to a friend of yours and they're going through that kind of experience, is you must impart to them that they have value. I look like John McEnroe. I don't know what I'm doing with this baseball cap on backwards, but my hair's a bit out of control at the minute, so forgive me. Anyway, you must, it's very, very important. Yes, I was, Dave. I'll come to you in a sec. It's very, very important that you tell your friends that they have value. If you have a friend that is going through some shit and you can see it on their social media, forget all this texting bullshit. You need to call them. You need to get on the phone. You need to call them, or you can call them on Facebook Messenger, which is what I did. You need to get them on the phone and you need to ask them if they're okay. And even if they say they're okay and you can tell that they're not okay, you've got to talk to them. You've got to talk to them. You've got to speak to them. And that's what I did earlier today, and I think one of the things that made me be quite persistent with this individual, because I had a sense that they were going through some pretty heavy stuff, was that we had somebody from a British pop band called One Direction. I think of Liam McIntyre, I think his name was, and my understanding of the situation, and again, I wasn't there, is that he took his own life or was in a mental state to unable to control what he was doing, and tragically, whether deliberate or otherwise, he fell to his death, and this is a very, very tragic event. It's terrible. So and those events were all over the news over here. This is it's like when Trump farts. In America, that's a 36-hour running story. This was running. This has been the top news story in the UK, is the tragic death of Liam Payne. And if people don't know who I'm talking about, I can put it up. I'm not a 15-year-old girl, so I wasn't I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I was a fan of One Direction, because I wasn't. But One Direction were an incredibly, extremely popular manufactured pop band. And, we often think that people that are good looking and have money and have hot girlfriends and all the rest of it don't have problems. And he went through a shitload of depression and a whole load of issues. So I'm going to parallel that with my friend, whose name shall remain nameless. This is a man probably a bit younger than me, probably in his early 40s, going through some things. And I know this man from the rave scene, so I'm going to give Dave a shout out. By the way, Dave, if you want to come on, mate, let me know and I'll find a way to get you the link. You can come on for a chat. Lance, quick question. Were you at Labyrinth last weekend? Yes, I was. I've got pictures of me at Labyrinth on my phone. Labyrinth, for anyone who doesn't know, was a was a rave event. Hang on a second. I've just got to send somebody a message. So yeah, I also just forgot I was supposed to do a work Zoom with someone at midnight, and I feel this topic is more important, so they will understand. But yes, I was at Labyrinth. So for anybody who doesn't know, Labyrinth is a rave event, and I was there. That would be probably my 15th rave this year, something like that. Been to quite a few this year. I'm just trying to get a picture of or footage. I get a good video of one of the videos of the event. Let's have a quick look. What we got here. I can flash it on the screen quickly. I met Danny Lines, who's in this clip. That was Labyrinth. So yes, Dave, I was there. Anyway, it's one of the reasons. So this is all connected, actually, because one of the reasons I'm there, one of the reasons I go raving, was entirely for my mental health, and because I went through a pretty difficult breakup. I lost somebody I cared really, really, really deeply about. I mean, this was my partner. We were married. We went through hell together. But I always kind of believed somehow we would come out the other side. But, when you're going through that kind of, experience yourself, what happens is that you're taking damage. You're getting hit. You're taking damage, and that damage leaves dents in you. Some of those are physical, some of them are psychological, and it's difficult. It affects you. It impacts you, and we had taken so many dents. I'm not going to sit here and do a he said, she said, or anything like that. And my ex-partner was a wonderful, caring individual who I loved dearly at the time that we were in the good place. But we went through such a difficult journey that journey just smashed us apart. And by the time we came out the other side of it, we were not the people we were going in. And my friend tonight, who was on the end of his tether, is somebody I know from the rave scene. And this is not an individual that I know. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say this guy's my best mate and da-da-da. He's not my best mate. He's somebody I've known a few months. We're part of the same crowds. We go out clubbing together. But in September, when it was my wedding anniversary, I had a bit of a wobble. And I had a really difficult week. I had a week, I'm not going to lie. I had a bit of a weird week. And then a whole load of people from that rave scene, they saw a message on my Facebook, but they probably sensed I was not in a good place. And a whole load of these people suddenly got in touch with me, and he was one of them. He was one of the people that got in touch with me. Lance, are you okay? Here's my phone number. Do you need someone to call? Do you want me to call? Do you need me to do you need someone to talk to? And for me, that's a sign of a really good individual, right? That was all I needed to be there for him. He went to bat for me. Very simple. He put a message up on Facebook. He was not in a good place. I was there for him tonight. I don't know him that well. Doesn't matter that I don't know him that well. I know him well enough. And I know him well enough to know that I want to see him on the dance floor again in a few weeks' time. I do not want to get a message that he's no longer with us. So I stayed on the phone with him for half an hour. And I'm quite good at that sort of thing because I used to work as a counsellor back in the day. I am seeing all the messages in chat, guys. And thanks for that, pathetic Kermit. I'll come to them in a second. And I decided to go into counsellor mode a little bit, which I haven't done for a while, and try to get him, because I could tell he was in a really bad place, and I was really worried he was going to do something stupid. And I just kept him on the phone. And so I suppose the big piece of knowledge here to impart to people is, if you know if you're perceptive and you pick up on that about somebody, if you know them well enough to care about them, that's the only degree you need to know them to. Give them a call. Give them a call. Pick up the phone and call them. Call them on Facebook Messenger. Call them on the phone, whatever. But the direct human contact thing is so important. Texts and voice notes are nice. They're nice. They're good. But people can ignore those. People can, if someone calls you and you get in a conversation with them, you've got to talk to them, right? And he would not have unloaded to me. He cried, and it was a difficult conversation, but he would not have done that unless I had called him. And I could tell he was in a bad place, and I had to say to him, look, if you do something, I'm going to be hurting tomorrow. And I said, and it's not just me. And I named some other people, all people that we all hang out together, And I said, this person's going to be upset. This person's going to be upset. This person's going to be upset. So is this person, and so is this person. And the reason that they're all going to be upset, mate, is because we all care about you. We all care about you, mate. You're a good guy. We care about you. And I was upset a couple of weeks ago. You were one of the first people that sent me a message. We haven't known each other that long, but you took the time. You sent me a message. Now you're upset. Now I'm here. I'm doing the same thing. I'm doing the same thing for you. And sometimes that's the only thing that it takes. John, you're really testing my patience with these poppers comments, mate. And yeah, of course, I put the hat on backwards to look younger. Absolutely, 2000%. It also stops my hair from drooping down, but not entirely successfully. Can you see this? See the big strand here? It's not entirely worked, is it? I need to do maybe a bandana would work a little bit better. But yeah. So but we are talking about a serious topic here tonight. We're talking about mental health. So make a light comment or two by all means, but please don't demean the topic because it's quite serious. And yeah, I just think it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much to reach out to people and ask them if they're okay. I'm not going to be on here too long. Let me just check something. Two secs. I've just got to record a reply to this. Okay, I'm back on. Sorry about that. So anyway, I want to try and get a couple of YouTubers on because if I can, if I can, then I will play the new Outcast song. We have a new Outcast song for the channel. But yeah, sorry guys, I was muted deliberately. I just had to take a call. So that was deliberate. That was deliberate muting. On my part. Deliberate muting. So I'm just going to go back through some of the comments because there was quite a few comments here. So let me just scroll back. So I already answered the one about. So Pathetic Hermit said earlier, God bless you for helping someone in despair. I was in that place, literally walked into a doctor's room. It was bleak. Doctor asked if I was okay. I said yes, then broke down. Thank goodness I had help. Yeah, when I got back from my so-called holiday a couple of years ago, the one that caused various events happen, which resulted in me having PTSD. It was pretty horrible. The same thing happened to me. I had a massive mental breakdown in a doctor's office. Thank God I was in the right place to do that. So, but yeah. And so Dave's saying, yeah, I thought so. My mate DJ'd. I gave him a new track to premiere and told him to do me a little vid so I could see the crowd reaction. And I was like, hey, that's Lance. Mad. So I was dancing to your song. Is that what you're telling me, Dave? You can, mate, I don't know where to find you. Where do I find you on social media? Hang on a second. I'm going to make you a moderator. Then you can put the link in the chat. Hold on a minute. So let me just find you. So, assuming you're still watching, Dave. Hopefully you're still watching. So look. Yep. Right. I've just made you a moderator, Dave. So you should be able to put the link in for me. So yeah, if you want to do that, please do. I'm very interested. If you've got a video of me dancing to your song, that's pretty cool. Sorry, I didn't realise the topic at hand. If you're still interested in having me on, this is a topic near and dear to me. Absolutely, Goatee. Yeah, I've sent you the link, actually. I'm pretty sure I sent you the link on Twitter. I didn't want to make this stream too heavy. I did want to talk about some silly things as well, but I felt it was important to address this. So keeps going around when I follow the instruction. Oh, okay, that's weird. That is weird. Someone's trying to get on, but they can't. They're having trouble. Because I trust you, too important. I'll be up. Let me know when you're ready. If it ends up being tomorrow, I'm free in time. Okay, right. Okay, yeah, all right. Hold on a second. I'm just going to mute myself again. All right, so I've just got to email I've got to send my friend the link to the stream so he can watch the stream. And here's the okay, right. Here's let me just here is the link to watch, and I think I've got Eclectic Goats about to come in. So here she is.
Good evening.
Hello, how you doing?
Sore, but physically, which is much easier to deal with than mentally.
I'm not sure I should ask why. I dare to think what activities you've been up to being a goat. So,
I got literally attacked by one of my goats, which is why I originally said I couldn't be on this.
Well, I'm glad your goat attacking session is now over, and you were able to extricate yourself from the goating, and you're now here. So that's good.
It's never actually happened before. I've never had a goat that aggressive, but so yeah, we had a little tussle, and he lost, but it's still uncomfortable.
Yeah. So I don't know if you saw in the chat, but this guy, Daveski, was at the same rave as me on Saturday, and at that rave he had a DJ put on a track which he created. So Dave, you're a creative, mate, so I need to get you on the channel at some point so I can support you. Not right now. We'll get you on at a different time where we can get a few people on. But my God, somebody just said they can't come on because they're grading papers. Have you ever heard of anything so dull? Yep. So okay, Dave, I found you. I'm giving you a follow now. Drop me. I've just sent you a message, mate. Why don't you drop me a link to the video or a link to your track, and I'll see if I can put it on right now. Small world, isn't it? Small world. I can't go to a rave without someone at YouTube being there. That's pretty funny. So yeah, I mean, what happened tonight was somebody from that community did a post, and clearly they were not in great shape. And when I see a post like that, I will just call a person like immediately. I don't fuck about. I don't like, are you all right? And all this, or oh, it will be fine. Be strong, sort of thing. I just call them immediately. And he was not all right. He was in a really, really bad place. And so I kind of went into counselor mode because I was a counsellor for 10 years, and sort of tried to get him to see the value in himself, and also, the fact that he is important to us, so that he didn't think about any kind of self-harm or anything. There was nothing that I could do in the immediate. It wasn't like I could go around to his house or anything because he's quite far away from me. I don't even have a car, and even if I did, that would be a 2-hour drive. So all I could do was be there for him on the phone. But I was on the phone to him for about half an hour. And then as soon as I got off the phone, I messaged about 6 people that were closer friends of his than me, and said, you all need to check on this guy tonight. And they have been. We think now he's kind of conked out. He's fallen asleep. But that combined with the death of Liam Payne, who was like a big pop star in my country, who he was, I didn't even know he was suffering from depression. I mean, I'm not a fanboy or anything of his genre of music. I go to raves. I'm not a top of the pops guy, but yeah, I mean, he was obviously intoxicated. He obviously was under the influence, but it's basically a intoxicated suicide from what I can understand, and he threw himself out of a balcony window. So that's massive news tonight in England as well. Massive news. And I just thought, and this is a guy who had a lot of money. He was an internationally famous pop star. He's dated some of the most beautiful women in the world. It just goes to show it doesn't matter where you're at with everything. If your world is not in sync, if you're out of sync with the world around you, it can get the better of you. So I thought it was worth coming on and sort of saying something about it. Plus, I've also got the new Outcast song. So if we get one more person from YouTube on, we might play that. Slightly different topic, but so Goatee.
I mean, that's just a tease.
It is a tease, but I thought I've got to have light with the dark. We're talking about a fairly heavy topic, so I thought I've got to have some light here. So, by the way, if people want to subscribe to Dave's thing, I've put it up there for a while. This is a guy who makes his own music. Check him out on Twitter, please. Do support him. Another creative like myself.
Yeah, I went and put him on. I subscribed to him on Twitter too.
Yeah. So, you said this is a topic close to your heart. Do you want to jump in for a little bit? Talk about that.
Well, I worked in mental health for 24 years before I couldn't take it anymore and started raising goats instead.
Right. That's not a joke. That's a real thing.
Oh, it is. I not only worked in mental health, I worked in the sections that like most people don't want to work in. I worked in the state prison, in the mental health department there. I worked in locked mental health wards, and the average burnout rate in most of the places I worked was 3 years.
Right. Yeah,
and I lasted 24. So,
right.
but I have experienced firsthand a lot of that type of it's hard to even say it. Like, it's one of the reasons I had to leave. It got to the point where even like thinking about or talking about these topics just got to be so hard because it was so constant in my life. There was always someone either attempting suicide or cutting themselves or talking about suicide or attempting to hurt someone else or any of those things. So it's a topic I worked anywhere from 60 to 90 hours a week at for a very long time.
Right.
And I do want to say, really awesome follow-up with the having people check on him all night, because the number of cases I know of where people are like, oh yeah, I talked him down and they were doing great. So then I hung up and the next morning.
I wanted to give a shout out to Kitty Bonkers, who I think here we go. I was talking about what I went through a couple of years ago. Kitty Bonkers Anti-Hero. I love that name. That's a very cool name. I'm afraid the same is happening to my marriage right now. So much has happened in the last few years. We're not the same people anymore, and every bit of distance felt hurts a lot. Listen, if you're still married and there's a shot, what I would say is you have to sit down and you've got to have a conversation where you've both got to be prepared to listen. And when I say listen, I mean when one side vents their problems, when they talk about the things that you've done to hurt them or the things that you've done to upset them, you have to not go into defensive mode and say, well, I did that because you did this. That's not helpful. Okay, that's not going to solve anything. You have to listen to that person, and you have to take on board everything they're saying, whether you agree with it or not. And you've got to allow the time and the space to do that, and they have to do the same for you. That's a two-way thing. And if you can both agree to do that and set aside the time to do that, and you can both listen, and then you can then talk about, well, what's the way forward? How do we address these things that we've both done to upset each other? I should call this counselling, late night counselling with Lance, shouldn't I? You might have a chance. You might have a chance of making that relationship work. Maybe, if you're lucky.
The other thing is that I think we go into these expectations that relationships are never going to change us and that the other people are never going to change. And you started off well by saying neither of us is the same person. And just because you're not the same people doesn't mean you can't grow and change together, because that's what relationships are about.
Yeah.
Just because they're not the same person doesn't mean that they can't be someone that you can still be with. We're a generation gets really hung up on nostalgia. And that's great for movies, but we can still grow and move forward with people. They don't have to be the same people that we started with.
I think I remember me and my ex talking about this, and it's like a lot of problems stem from money, and you know, you never have enough of it. You even if you want minimal things in life, you know, minimal things in life that seem like simple things for a lot of people are actually really hard for others to achieve. Like owning your own home is a really basic human right, I would argue, that everyone is entitled to. Yet for most people, it's a dream. Most people have to rent in London now. Owning their own home is an absolute nightmare. You know, mortgages in London are absolutely outrageous. To buy a 2-bedroom flat in London in a not very nice area of London, a 2-bedroom ground floor flat will cost you £750,000, £750,000. So you know, that's a financial goal that most people in regular day jobs can't afford. They can't. So there's various things that have there's various things that set up difficult, unrealistic expectations for us as human beings, which then unfortunately mean that we're setting ourselves up for a lot of disappointment if we don't manage those expectations, if we don't keep a degree of realism. You've got to really love someone to stay together. That's very important. That love has to be there. And I did find a text message from 2017 that I had with my ex, where we had an argument, and I sent them this text message from the other room, because we were in separate rooms at the time, and said, you know, this isn't a good start to our year. Why are we being this way? And they'd said something to me, and it was very financial orientated, and I said, yeah, but what about love? You know, that sounds so wet, I know, and very unpractical, but I was hoping we would get through back then, but it's a long time ago. Those days are all well behind me now. But yeah, it's difficult. We live in difficult times. There were 5 people that got married all around the same time that I did. There were like 3 people got married a year or 2 before me. We were all at each other's weddings as well, and I think 2 people got married after I did. Right. All of them are divorced now, except for one, and I was the last person to get divorced out of all those 6. And there's one guy, friend of mine, who is still married to the same girl.
I wonder how much of it is a symptom, though, because it's not like broke couples haven't married before, and yet it seems like everyone getting divorced over finances seems more common and more recent. And you said yourself that, you know, a very wealthy guy just jumped off a balcony. So
Yeah.
it's not like we're worldwide. It's not like we're doing well mentally, whether we're rich or poor.
No, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I mean, it's we live in really difficult times. It's a tough time. You know, it's a tough time. What can we do? But the good news is Dave has sent me that video, and I am dancing in it. I am dancing. I'm proper raving in it. I've seen it. Yeah, mate, that is definitely me in my white shirt. I normally wear black when I go to raves. I'm proper dancing. I think this is also when
and you're sharing this, right?
Well, I don't know, but I don't know about that. I'm not sure. I think I might need a super chat in order to show this I don't know if I'm going to show this.
All right, come on, chat. Ask the hat, put the pennies in. You know, we want to see this.
Let me talk for a bit longer before I decide if I want to show this. My friend Aisha is in it as well. Bless her. She's absolutely
no. I definitely heard you say if you got a super chat that you were going to say that you were going to show this.
Maybe. It might need to be a fairly significant super chat, not like a 25-cent, $2 super chat. Let me distract myself quickly and look at some of the other stuff. Oh, the man who recorded the video is here, Dave.
Hello,
mate. You came on.
Right, guys.
How are you? This is bonkers, isn't it? We were both at a rave.
It is mental.
We were both at a rave in London the other day. We've never met.
I wasn't there, you know, but
you weren't there.
No, as I said, my mate was DJing, and I'd given him a track that I said, "Look, if you play because
he took the video.
He generally plays house, and he said he was doing Labyrinth, and I thought, well, that's sort of 92.
Yeah. Oh, we've lost audio. Dave, we've lost your audio. But okay, so to summarize for anybody who's watching who's a bit confused, what happened is I went to a rave on Saturday. Dave's mate was DJing at that rave, and Dave's mate played a track that Dave had created because Dave is a music creator. And he's looking at the video of people dancing to his track and watching.
Sorry, I lost you for a sec.
Yeah, I'm summarizing the story, Dave. We lost your audio. And you're amazing. How did you spot that was me and then realize this was my channel? That's balmy.
Well, I've watched the channel for a while. I follow both, Drinker and Bo for quite a while, and I remember sort of conversing with you via chats during the big Band of Brothers. I nearly said Big Brother. Band of Brothers streams, which were brilliant.
Yeah, when we had the inside man on who worked on every
That's
episode.
it, yeah, exactly. And we'd sort of had backs and forths there, and I thought, I've seen you on Open Bar and stuff, so I thought I generally had a good idea of what you look like. So as I said, I knocked this track up and for my mate, and because he usually plays house, but because he said he was doing Labyrinth, I thought I know the Labyrinth crowd because I used to go when I was back in my 20s. Right. So I said this is going to be perfect because it's sort of 92 retro sort of sound.
It was good. You can see I probably liked it.
Yeah. So I gave him it and I said, look, just do me a little video just so I can see the crowd reaction, and he did, and I obviously see the video and I thought that's Lance.
Mate, that's
so then I thought I've got to get in touch with you somehow to let you know.
Absolutely bonkers, mate. It's so you create your own music, right?
Yeah.
So what I need to do is then down the road, like maybe in the new year, I need to get you on for an interview to talk about your music.
Yeah, man, I'd love to. Well, I mean, I do music as well, but I'm generally, it sounds really big-headed, I'm generally known for my art. I used to do, back in the day, the old sort of rave scene, I used to do a lot of record sleeves and merch and things for people.
And the flyers.
Yeah, for quite well-known record labels and stuff.
Okay. Well, you can come on and talk about all that.
Yeah, that's what I'm sort of predominantly known for, if people would Google my name and stuff. But,
right.
Yeah, but I do music as well.
Is your artist name Daveski? Is that it, or is it a different name?
It's Daveski Nods, yeah, Nodz.
Daveski Nods, okay. Daveski Nods knows it. Okay. So
you'll see. probably see some stuff you might recognise. I don't know.
Oh well, mate, I'm proper old school, so mate, I'm proper going for it in that video.
I know. I don't know what time he was on or anything, how long you'd likely to would have been there, but you look like you're having it, mate.
I was probably dancing for about 6 hours at that point. So yeah, I've been dancing.
Yeah, you look like you look about 6 hours down.
Yeah, 6 hours up.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
more like.
But it's just really weird, and I thought I've got to try and get it to him. So I think I've replied to a couple of posts of yours on Twitter. So I thought he's not going to know who I am. He's going to follow me.
You're a Judge Dredd fan.
Yeah, I used to do a lot. That was a lot of that's big influence on my sort of style, you know.
So I don't know if you've seen
on my channel. Simon Bisley.
I don't know if you've seen on my channel, but I've had the editor of 2000 AD on the channel for an interview during the Golden.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
What, Alan McKenzie, was it? Oh, Steve McManus.
Steve McManus, yeah.
Yeah, no way. Yeah, that was an old Dredd thing I did. I just put on my banner.
You're gonna want to check that out. Well, before you came on, we were talking, and before you go, we were talking about mental health a little bit. And one of the reasons, I was actually supposed to do a Zoom meeting with a mate of mine about a play, and he may well still be watching this. So my apologies, Simon.
I didn't want to sort of derail the subject matter.
No, you're not derailing it at all. It's all connected because the person concerned was a member of the Ravers group that I go clubbing with.
Oh, right.
And I'm not going to say any more detail than that, but we've become a bit of a family, you know. And the reason I've started going out raving again was to get through my divorce, breakup of a relationship of 10 years, really difficult time. And it would have been my 11th wedding anniversary last month, and I had a bit of a wobble. I had a bit of a couple of very difficult days, and I did a post, you know, and a whole load of people contacted me, and the reason I did that post was because I wanted people to contact me. I did want them to. It was a bit of a cry for help. Yeah,
it's always a cry for help. Yeah.
He did the same thing tonight, and I was straight on the phone to him within minutes of seeing it. And he was in a much worse way than I was, and he was one of the people that contacted me a few weeks ago. So my take on it was, doesn't matter whether I've known him for 3 months, 3 years, or 30 years. It was my time to be there for him, and
I think you're right.
I just had to remind him how loved he was, and you know, not to do anything silly really, and I think it was important to do that. My friend Goat, who's on with me at the moment, who does actually raise goats, believe it or not.
Goaty by name.
She used to work in mental health in prisons, so she popped.
Well, that was one spot. I did it all over the place. I did prisons, I did hospitals, I did community, I did everything.
Did you want to add anything?
I don't know if
not you, Dave, not you.
Sorry,
Goat wanted to add anything to what we've just said.
I'm sorry, Goat.
That's all right.
I mean,
I've never apologized to Goat before.
Other than the fact that my livestock guardian's dog is named Judge Dredd.
No way. Dredd's the man. We need a new movie, don't we?
We do. Well, I want a television series.
Yeah, that was the original idea, I think.
Yeah, it got into too many cooks. So I've got a bit of an inside vein on what's been going on there at Rebellion, and there's been all kinds of problems with it. But you know, they need to do a Judge Dredd series that needs to end the first season with the appearance of Judge Death, and that's the big cliffhanger of season 1.
Well, it's going to be a budget thing, though, and if they did the Dark Judges, I always thought that.
It's not that hard, man.
Practically, you could do it really well. I'd like them to do the Judge Child quest.
You know how you cut. No, you need to establish Mega City 1 before you do Judge Child, because that takes everybody out of Mega City 1, and that would kill the show. You don't want to do that. You want to do that like season 4 or something. You don't want to do that early. The problem is, right, with this kind of concept is there are 20 producers, and they're all going to want a cut of the budget. Fuck that. Scale the
And you
whole.
want to hope that they don't current day it, as Drinker would say.
Yeah, just
It'd be
scale the
Josephine.
scale the whole thing down. But it's not more expensive to make these shows now. It's cheaper actually because the technology, the visual effects. Most people can do visual effects to the standard of Star Wars in their house now.
Yeah, I've seen some fan films that are brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even the Judgmenty one. Have you seen that?
That was directed by a friend
quite
of mine.
old. It was Greg Staples, I think, had something to do with that.
Yeah, and a guy called Oliver.
He's a hero of mine.
A guy called Oliver Hollingdale, I think, was involved, and he's just done a feature film. These are the sorts of people that are out there that are waiting to, be given a job. They could put 20 of them together. They could make you a Judge Dredd season 1.
Oh God, there's so much source material. So much.
They could do 12 episodes for $30 million.
Yeah.
There's
loads. I can't understand why people haven't really not raided, but the 2008 back catalogue. There's so many movies there. I mean, I was talking to my mate about it the other day, and I said the best thing I could think of would be an ABC Warriors animated in the style of Arcane.
That would be good.
That would be mental.
That would be really good.
But loads, Road Trooper, Strontium Dog, any of that stuff. I'm sure someone's got the rights to it all.
So, Stephen, if you want to marry me, you better put a ring on it, mate. So I don't see no ring.
I was just going to say, though, Lance, I generally find that our I'm guessing I'm 54. I don't know if you're sort of similar age to me, but I think
I'm in my early 50s. Early 50s.
Yeah. I think our generation, especially ex-ravers, are on the whole quite empathetic people. And I don't want to tie it into the whole ecstasy thing, but you generally had that sort of togetherness when people went out as a crew, as a group in that scene.
Yeah.
And even now, when you see people like see yourself in the video, which I hope you're going to show, it is that sort of that age group that are still like, not wanting to be 20 again, but wanting to tap into that sort of feeling that they had, which we all did. And I know you showed a bit of Human Traffic at the start, and I remember when I first saw that, and it was like, oh my God, that was me. It's dated terribly, but it is a very good reflection of what those days were like, I think they're always going to be. I'm glad that they're sort of around you, because I think we generally sort of share something.
Can you send me that video as a separate file, mate?
Yeah, of course. I'd have to send it I'd have to send it through WhatsApp or something. So drop me your number.
What you can do is no, don't send it to my phone, because my phone is deliberately not connected to my computer. So
it says uploading, but it's just.
No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you my email address, and if you go to wetransfer.com and just use the free version, you'll be able to send it there.
Oh right, yeah, gotcha.
You've got about 4 of my friends in that video as well. You've got John Painter.
Who's the girl singing?
The mixed race girl is my friend Aisha, who I call Emu.
Yeah, she's singing along, and I was well pleased with that.
I think you've got John Reed. Yeah, you've got John Reed dancing in that video. That's one half of the Reed brothers who runs Rave Days.
Oh, nice one.
So you've got one of the Rave Days brothers in there. And Aisha's going to, like, when I show this, she's going to be hysterical. Well,
the whole reason I did that track, because it's not my usual sort of thing,
right,
is because girls love a sing. Girls love, girls that used to first start getting into garage, they used to go because they love having a sing song. And you always, with that sort of, I wouldn't call it happy hardcore, but that sort of sound, you always used to chuck in a female vocal because the girls love it. So I thought, well, if I'm going to do just a cheeky, unashamed bootleg, I'll take a track that I know from the 80s that everyone used to love, especially the ladies. And it was great because even it's only a minute and a half, I think, that clip, but even in that, when it drops to the vocal, I can hear people singing. And I thought, that's exactly why I did it. So it was brilliant.
Let me I have a feeling I may well have been singing to it at one point. I probably wouldn't have had a clue. I would have been blagging it. You know, when you do that thing when you're on the dance floor, dancing with a pretty girl, and you don't want her to know that you don't really know what the song is. So you sort of go, "Oh yeah, this one, yeah, this one." And
I've always liked this. Oh yeah, put it on vinyl.
Yeah, I had this. Yeah, back in the day. Oh yeah, used to listen to this all the time. You know, you'd be doing all that. So
brilliant.
Raise her head. I don't know what you mean.
What you mean? Yeah. I'll have to. I can certainly ping it over to you, but I'll have to sign out of here.
Yeah. Well, look,
and I'll send it over.
It was good to have you on. We'll have you back on another time.
Yeah, anytime, mate. As I said, I've got quite a few years in that sort of scene, as it were. And as a creative, I've got a merch line as well that I'm sort of getting off the ground at the moment. So,
well, funny enough,
qualify,
mate. Funny enough, I want to
chuck you a t-shirt.
Yeah, I want to do one of those with the see. Look, I've got an Outcast hoodie here. Look, see. So,
nice.
But I want to set that up on. I want to set that up online. So we'll have to have a convo about that because you can probably nice.
I'll chuck you a t-shirt.
Oh, bless
or
you.
A bag or a hoodie or something.
Hey, I'm going to be at Rave Story on Saturday, so I'm out this Saturday as well.
Yeah.
No Rest of the Wicked.
No.
And I'm at Rave Story this Saturday. I'm at Hello Rave next Saturday.
Nice one.
Yeah. So, well, you know.
Yeah, well, there's some stuff coming up. I might. I'll chat to you anyway. But I'm going to be down at my mate's got a record shop in Worthing.
All right.
Well, I'm going to be down at the end of September. So I might be able to meet up, drink or something.
Send me the video on WeTransfer, and if I get it while I'm still live, I might put it up.
Yeah, I'll try and do it now.
All right, mate. Okay, I'll catch you
soon. Right. Cheers, guys.
Right. That's a first. That's a first that someone's reached out to me who's been at a rave. Oh, no, he wasn't even at the rave, but he had a friend who videoed a rave that he recognised me at. That is balmy. Go. Are you still there? And she's quite right. 22 watching.
Yeah.
Right. So we've got an Outcast song. Okay. So here's the challenge. There's 23 people watching. So if I count over 20 yeses in the chat, if people just put a big Y in the chat like that, if I count 20 of those, I'm going to play the Outcast song. Okay. So I want to see 20 Ys. If I get 20 Ys in the chat, so 19 to go because I've put one in. There you go. There's 2. Kitty Bonkers Anti-Hero with 2. Electric Goat. That's a yes. That's not a Y. You're breaking the rules already. Okay, so that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we've got 8. We've got 9. We've got 9. Okay, so we got 10. We've got 10. We're looking for 10 more chat. So those people that are watching that are not saying anything, you've got to put your Y in the chat now. Got to put your Y in the chat. We got 10. That's not enough. That's not enough. I want some more. Play the video, says Dan Dow. Okay, all right. Look, Greg Moss. Greg Moss has put one in. Thank you, Greg. Simon's counting. He says 14. Ramsey 15. All right. Got to refresh to see the likes. Well, I didn't say likes. I want people that are watching now. So I will refresh to see the likes. So let's have a look. Yeah, you can put the likes on as well. So far, we have got 16 likes. All right. If I get the likes up to 20, so either the likes up to 20 or the yeses up to 20, then we'll hit it. 17 now, according to Simon. I know that Simon can't count past 18, so we're going to need help now. Let's see if that was me sending that, wasn't it? Yeah. So Goat, did you want to add anything else about the mental health thing before we go silly? Or Proctofile? There we go. That's another one.
It's really important what you said about the texting versus calling.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the reasons that so many arguments start because people text is because words are a very, very tiny part of communication. Tone is really important.
Yeah.
Body language is really important. The number of people in chat who've said, so and so asked me if I was okay, and I said yes, and then I broke down crying.
Yeah.
If it had been over text and all they'd done is typed yes and then broke down crying, all the person sees is the yes. Texting is really, really terrible for that sort of thing.
I mean,
Because the person can be sobbing on the other end and you don't know. All you see is yes.
I don't know if you remember when Facebook first exploded, which was probably around I want to say 2008, something like that, when it went really big. And there were so many people that fell out on it. Like people that have been friends for like years would fall out because of a conversation they had on Facebook, right? And I would always say that's because you can't hear tone of voice. And I do it myself. I wouldn't fall out with people, but I would say something to somebody, forgetting that they can't hear how I'm actually saying it in my head. So when they read it on the page, and I say, well, I bet that was funny. I bet you didn't eat for a week. They might be hearing me say, yeah, well, but that was funny. But you didn't eat for a week. You can't, they might hear it in their head a different way. But if you're on the phone, you don't have that problem because you can hear the person. You know exactly what tone the conversation is. So
there's I mean, when I used to do assessments, I used to refuse to do. There were certain types of assessments that I used to refuse to do, like via video chat or over the phone, because video chat you can only see kind of from like the shoulders up. And I said, if they've been cutting themselves, I can't see their arms. If they smell like alcohol, I can't tell. And there's so many things that you miss.
Yeah.
And text conversations, there's this weird thing, especially if your mental health is really bad. I refer to it as the evil little voice. There's that voice in the back of your head when you're not doing well that is going to take everything that people say in the worst possible way.
Right. That can happen.
And Twitter and Facebook really bring it out in us badly. So things that people say that are pretty neutral, especially since they're coming from strangers. I see these huge name calling sessions that will break out on social media because one person just chooses to take, I shouldn't say chooses because it's not like they're doing it consciously, but they take something the other person said in the absolute worst possible way that it could be taken. And what that tells me is they're having a really bad day and their evil little voice is really going to town saying, it's not that the other person said you suck, it's that their inner little voice is saying you suck. So remember, when someone on Twitter starts going at you because of something you said that really was totally neutral, what's really going on is their inner voice is saying, I suck, and therefore this person is telling me I suck. They're getting defensive because they think they suck, and they're assuming that you told them they suck.
Yeah. That can happen. It's very true. Well, I think to cheer everybody up, now we've been tackling some pretty heavy issues, we ought to play the song. So what I want to just tell people is this is not the final video for this song. I only got the song fairly recently, and I just cobbled something together. But I thought this would be quite good fun. Generally, this is to play at the end of a stream. I just, so yeah, actually, maybe I should play it at the end of this, and see if what else I kind of want to talk about before we wrap up. Because I've been on for an hour. I don't want to stay on too much longer. So I'm a little bit concerned. Kitty Bonkers Anti-Hero. What a great name. I really hope you guys work this out, because it sounds like you're still together at the minute. And you know, if you got married, you did it for a reason. No one gets married to get divorced. You know, there's actually somebody that I really want to ask out on a date that I've met. They don't know that I want to ask them out on a date. And by the way, chat, you're not getting any more information, so don't ask me about that. But I do know that they got married about a year after I did, and also they're now divorced, and I know that they're single, and I know I sent out my whisperers to find out about their hobbies and that sort of thing, and I think we're actually pretty compatible. And I have to tell you, I'm absolutely terrified at the prospect of asking this person out on a date, because then you've got to deal with rejection if they say no, and that's not a nice thing. And and I also got a good feeling we would be a good fit, so that raises expectations even more, which means, you know, anyway. But I'll keep you posted, guys. I'll keep you posted. I'll let you know how that goes. And apparently Dave has transferred the video. Shall I have a look and see if I've got it? Let's have a look. The video has arrived. Okay, all right, I'm going to download it. The video is called Oi Oi, Lance is having it. Is that right? Dare I show? The thing is, right, this video's got other friends of mine in it. I don't know if I should be showing it on my YouTube channel, really. So I might have to. I don't know if I can show it without running it by them first. I mean, it's not obviously mine, so I guess, you know, at the end of the day, Dave could put this absolutely anywhere. I would probably need to look to see if there's anything.
You could just edit it to blur them out and show it the next time, and we'll just pop in on your.
They'll probably be, to be honest, they'll probably be annoyed if I blur them out. I just want to make sure everybody's like behaving responsibly and there's no nudity. There's me and John having a hug. That's kind of sweet. And then I went off to talk to somebody. I can't remember what. That's right. I came to check. I think this actually was me doing the rounds when I was getting ready to go, and I was kind of going around and saying my goodbyes. Yeah, that's right. That's why I've come and given Aisha a hug, and I just thought, oh, I'll have a little dance before I go. So this is near the end. This is before I left. Yeah. So, but yeah, I need to check with Emu that whether this is broadcastable or not. So I can't show that today. Okay, but what I will do is I will show the song. Oh no, we're down to 18 people. We've lost a couple of people. So Jinx says, no, Erotic always says, get that first wife out of the way. The second wife is the real deal. Oh, that's quite funny, mate. That's quite funny. So yeah, I mean, yeah, and that's fair comment as well, Dave. So what I might do is edit it into the Outcast video. All right, guys, I'm going to show you this video now. So because you've definitely earned that much. It does have some shots of me dancing in it, so you know, not all is lost. Thanks for everyone popping on Late Night with Lancey. I do plan on actually making this a regular stream because I'm normally up after open bar. I normally stay up for a couple of hours and do a bit of work. So yeah, but we're going to wrap it up there because I need to get on the phone to Simon if he's still awake and do our work call that we were supposed to do. So thanks very much, Goat, for coming on. Always appreciate you popping on, and also for offering your insights into the topics we were talking about.
Thank you for having me. The person who said everyone should go see a psychiatrist, a therapist maybe, psychiatrists don't do much these days except pass out medications. So
there you go. Important but technical difference. So guys, this is the new Outcast song. Do put comments in the chat. Let me know what you think about it. Here it is.
Hang out with the Lance at the Outcast Creative, where all the misfits and dreamers
legend, Galen Hurd. He created